Hey boys and girls, welcome back. I got a new pattern here for you today, something I saw on the stream the other day. This is something that I've kind of been working on, trying to get pieces together. I know it's a pretty simple bug, but I wanted something a little bit different here for the collar. This is more or less just a Frenchie pattern. This is called the Coco Puff. And more or less what we have and what we've seen on the stream, bugs crawling out, getting on the side of, the rocks and things like this. I was out maybe a couple weeks ago, and I saw these little mayflies that were crawling out of the water. And they almost looked like March browns, but they had a very distinctive, head. And the stripes that were on it were, it was like brown and white, but it had a weird kind of shoulder collar type thing and did not have anything coming off of it. Was just, I don't know, kind of like a hump in the middle, right where their wing case is starting. So I've been just messing around with different collars here, and what we have on this one is some CDC dubbing. So the idea behind it, that I've been messing with these CDC collars. I got a couple other patterns here, that we're going to throw at you, over the next couple weeks. But, this Coco Puff, this one's a little bit thin, but I want to, I'll show you here in the pattern. When this gets wet, it reacts differently. Normally, CDC is very flowy, a lot of air bubbles and things like that, and that's kind of what I'm trying to create with this CDC collar. Like I said, this one's a little bit small, but I'll show you kind of what I've done with the Coco Puff, other ones that I've tried here. This 2.5 millimeter bead, size 18 jig hook, silver wire, and these little black fibbits from my paintbrush. So let's kind of get into this, and we'll show you where we're at. Okay, go through some of the ingredients here. What we have for the hook, this is just size 18, 50/45 by Fulling Mill. The wire is silver Semperfli. This is a 0.2. 0.1 might work better. This is a very small bug. The thread that we're using is just Semperfli brown, and CDC that I'm gonna be using was probably Fulling Mills, but I got a whole bag of like leftovers that I save for things like this, and I just trim off one side. You can see I've done that on this one here, and spin it up into dubbing. And that's kind of what I'm using. So let's go ahead and get started here. Really been having good luck with the Perdigons. It seems to be all I'm catching them on right now anyway. This isn't the time of year that I typically have a lot of time in the creek. The girls are off school. Softball just ended, so this is normally my pool time. But yeah, I had some good luck this morning, and have had some good luck all spring. It's really been a late spring. So next thing I'm gonna do, like I said, this is just a paintbrush, but it's black. The fibers are black. And I'm just pulling like 3 or 4 off of here. Just like you would fibbits. It's actually cheaper to do with a paintbrush, I think, overall. So we're gonna put these on here, and one long one in there. just gonna loose wrap those onto the hook, make sure they're on the back. Excuse my fingers here. And we're gonna tack those down. Okay. I'm gonna wrap this back here so I can secure these tails before I put the wire on. And I go back to just inside, at least on these hooks, just inside the hook point. Okay, we're gonna get our wire, stick it in the back of the bead there. So these are just open wraps just to make sure it's going to stay on the top of the hook, and then I'm going to back wrap. All we're doing now is just building this body up, covering up that silver wire. Trying to get somewhat of a taper here. Sorry, this nano silk, it's like 18-aught. It takes forever to build these bodies up, but they are durable. So a couple of these I put some UV on, and it really darkens up the brown. I mean, the same thing might happen in the water, but yeah, it doesn't hurt to have those, you know, tacked down with some UV or something like that. I'm just going to wrap this wire right up to the head. Helicopter that off or cut it however you want to. I'm just gonna back wrap a few wraps here just to make sure that doesn't come undone. So okay, so we got to this point. Like I said, you can put some UV on this if you want. I kind of like the ridges, you know, showing out there a little bit. Just going to put a very light coat on this. And I'm going to touch it to try to take up any excess that I might have. Some in the eye there. Okay, gonna cook that from underneath. Okay, you can see how it really darkens that up. It's a preference, yeah, too. Okay. So then I'm going to get a piece of a CDC feather that I have over here. This one was kind of woolly. And all I'm doing is just cutting that from the tip down, probably about that far, just as long as the tips of my scissors are. All right, and we're just going to spin that right onto the hook. So I wet my fingers a little bit just to try to keep it under control. See, I'm trying to build up a little bit of a shoulder there. And then we're gonna go in and trim it up a touch. So if you want to get your brush, try to brush out some of those fibers. We can. Just brushed them out, and then I'm just gonna kind of going in with the head of the, about the head of the bead. You know, and tying that on like that. So when that gets wet, all right, the fibers are so short that they can't flow like you would typically use CDC for. But they still can trap air, and that's kind of the look that I was going for. You know, when these little bugs come off the bottom, they produce gas, and they more or less, like I described to somebody, kind of like they're riding a beach ball. Now the bubble of water is not very big, or the bubble of air, but they're super tiny. But they do try to keep that trapped in there, you know, in that abdomen area where their legs and stuff are. So, you know, with something like this, it works, it catches fish. I don't know if it creates the effect that I want, but yeah, I mean, they're eating just about anything right now. So give that one a shot. That's called the Coco Puff. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in about a week or so.